the people unite.
Woo! Welcome everybody to We the
everybody.
People
Good to see
Unite.
y'all.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Can you believe it's only
Hey, Juan.
Wednesday? It's
Not
only
these days. It feels like we've got
Wednesday.
36-hour days.
It's Friday for me. I'm done until Monday.
Oh, you are?
Yes, very excited.
Very
Haven't had a day off in probably a year and a half.
Nice.
a year and a
Celebrating
half.
the 4th?
Oh, easy, yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
So are you going to barbecue?
Maybe Sunday. I'm going up to friends on Friday up in DC, and then my team at the office conned me into having a barbecue on Sunday. So I said,
We getting roasted if it's
Why
the
not?
same.
you could use my house, you could use the house, but I'm not doing anything. I said, do a potluck. I'll buy hamburgers and hot dogs, and the rest is up to you guys.
That's right.
Eat enough of each other during the week. Why do you need to see each other on the Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday,
But so that's what's going to happen. But it's fine. It's nice.
Anybody else have big plans for the 4th?
No.
I tend to.
I'm gonna go to a white party.
Oh,
All white party. People in clothes.
Yes.
in my day, the
I'll be
white
dirty before I
parties
get
where
there.
you're wearing tidy whities, and that was it.
Let me know.
Oh,
Let me know how that goes. I
not
actually
going to that
really
one.
the
That's
4th of
extra.
July is my favorite holiday, and I don't know, and it's not because of like the political thing, but in Oakland, like we just do it big. I mean, I just go and sit on my porch or even climb up on the roof in like our little shack in the backyard and just watch the backyard go crazy. You know what I mean? So it's really fun. And
Nice.
you know,
Hearing
just have the
someone's
barbecue,
radio.
have the drink,
Yeah.
got the smoke, and the nice weather.
All right. Well, before we can enjoy
I'll
our
get the
4th of
moon.
July, we got some really smelly stuff happening in Congress. Woo-wee.
Yeah, the people.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Something stank.
So we all know what's going on, right? So this big bullshit bill passed the Senate with a lot of changes to it. So it had to go back to the House. And just to remind everybody, and I have a list of all the really bad stuff that's in it, but here's just a quick little rundown of some of the things that we know that's in this bill, right? We know the cuts to Medicaid. We know that it gives ICE the largest budget, I think, in our history. Strips healthcare
Ever.
away from Americans, right? SNAP benefits, cuts funding to green energy. You know, we'll talk a little bit about the environment because that's really concerning as well. And of course, it represents the largest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich in U.S. history.
I think. Hey Terry, is the TV on in the background again?
No, that was my telephone. I wanted
Oh.
to tell you that there's about a 3-minute lag before you go on and it picks up on the cell phones.
Yeah, it always works like that.
Just don't have background noise, yo.
Not
That's it in
turn it
the whole
off.
story.
I'm just saying that it doesn't come on at 4:30 Central Time.
That's okay. We'll discuss it after. All right. Let's
Yeah.
get
All
back.
right. Let's listen to a clip. Wait, I got somebody coming in. Marley's joining us. Hey, Marley.
Hi,
Hey.
Marley.
Marley.
All right, just in time for a
Hey.
clip.
Possible. They went a little further than many of us would have preferred.
Oh, let's start that over.
Moderates worrying there are too many cuts, while some Republican hardliners in the House think the changes weaken the cuts they want.
I can't imagine they have the vote. This whole thing is, I don't know what to call it. It's a show.
Speaker Mike Johnson still optimistic he can pass the bill.
I encouraged them to amend it as lightly as possible. They went a little further than many of us would have preferred. But we have the product now.
In the Senate, 3 Republicans and all Democrats voted no, including Rand Paul, who was critical of a deal hatched to win over Alaska's Lisa Murkowski.
They chose to add more pork and subsidies for Alaska to secure that vote.
Murkowski responding.
Senator Paul said that that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my God.
That's what Senator Paul said.
My question was easy. Senator, we've got the.
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska. Do I like this bill? No, because I tried to take care of Alaska's interests.
Murkowski won a special carve-out for her state to soften the blow of Medicaid cuts. Those cuts just one plank of a massive bill that also extends the Trump tax cuts, eliminates taxes on tips and overtime, and funds the administration's mass deportation plan. President Trump pushing the House to get to work quickly to get the bill to his desk.
It's a great bill. There is something for everyone.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what does everybody think about the senator's carve out for her state? Because she had voted no, this would not have passed. May?
Okay, first of all, I really am kind of sick and tired of her. I was tired of her the last time I saw her talking about, oh, I'm scared. Okay, then why are you here? Like, why are you here then? Go, sit your ass down and get somebody that isn't afraid to do the goddamn fucking job. Like, and then she had the audacity to look at him after he asked her like a very basic, simple question. She goes and pauses for like 10 seconds. And like, what is this? Like, lady, if you don't get up on out of here right now with this, because you're just wasting everybody's time, you're putting people's lives in danger. And honestly, like, I just like, why are you here? Like, you're like, that's where I'm at.
Anybody else?
Well, I don't know what she's afraid of.
She can't even look at it.
Yeah, maybe it's because it's her people who's hurting all of them up there. I don't know. It's not Democratic and liberal people causing any harm.
No, she
She threw us all under the bus for Alaska.
For her state.
And she's making that the excuse, but that's not the excuse. It's really she just didn't have the cojones, we'll say, to stand up against Trump and the rest of them. And guess what? She can't even look at us. And she looks all, and she's speaking all low because that's shame. Shall be shame.
Yeah, she's a hypocrite at the worst level.
Yeah,
because, you know, I thought we could have counted on her that, you know, along the way she has had some common sense, but she blatantly said after the fact, well, she doesn't believe in the bill and she hopes it gets changed and the House doesn't pass it. Well, then what the fuck did you vote for? Right. You voted for it.
Right.
You're not taking care of Alaskans, whatever they got, they're still going to lose in this thing. So, you know, I don't know what the heck she's thinking. And to May's point, she did say she was scared not too long ago of retaliation and threats to her life and, you know, what have you. But that's the political environment they created. So now they're stuck with it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I'm thinking.
Hi,
that,
Linda.
Hi. Sorry,
Linda.
I'm late. I'm thinking that it could be that she could be afraid. I think that she's also afraid she could be primaried. I don't think she expected the kind of backlash. I've been tracking her on, I think it's either Facebook or Instagram, and the comments, thousands and thousands of comments that are all negative. I read through, I didn't see any positive comments at all. I don't think she expected the backlash that she's getting. And, but I do think she was trying to save her job. Now, she may also be getting death threats. I don't know.
Yeah.
Save her job for what? If we all dead because we don't have any health care. What are you saving your job for? It just ticks me off. They work for us, and they keep forgetting that. Yes, she works for her state, but you work for us, and it's all messed up, and most of them are bought and sold. And that's it.
Yeah.
And like, what are you afraid of?
She will lose her job. She will lose her job over this, regardless. It doesn't matter which way it goes. She won't be the senator next round.
I'm hoping
And
they
like,
all
what are
lose
you
their jobs over this.
They need
right?
to. They need to be
All of them.
fired.
All of them.
Absolutely, 100. we need a clean house. But like, what are you afraid of? Like, it's not the Republican senators that it's actually your people and your MAGA cult that is actually like committing violence against people. Again, like I feel like I still are not discussing what happened in Minnesota. She's over here afraid on the Republican side. Okay, no, the Democrats need to be afraid. Those are the people that are actually being like targeted, not her. So everything that she got to say, fuck her.
And she's not MAGA though. Let's not forget that. She's
and the ones
MAGA.
who go against.
Well, you're associated with them.
But hasn't she always been really weak? Shit, like Jim
She
said.
seemed weak. She weak sauce.
Yeah.
And in her defense, we don't know how we would react if we were threatened and our families were threatened. And so just playing devil's advocate on that.
She's trying to kill us all. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I have no feeling for that. She took the job, and that's part of it. It's like going up to the police station, not expecting to see guns. That's all I'm saying. Politics is dirty, and she knew that. She's been in it too long.
Yeah, anybody who doesn't have the stomach for it, and they're afraid to stand up for what's right, then they shouldn't be in politics. Then they need to get out, and they need to be threatened, and they need to be threatened out. You know, Anitra's right. They knew what
they need to get out, but we also have to remember this is a different environment. This is not like being under the Obama administration and being a Republican, right? This is a very violent time.
Well, she's part of the problem then, is she's letting
But that's
them
why
do
that's
whatever
why
they
exactly because she only just gave them more power. She voted for this fucking bill to commit more violence against people. So like that's not fighting. That's why she can't be up in here at all.
Yeah,
let her do right. She knows she's telling on herself by trying to help Alaskans, right? But she's not helping the rest of America. So she knows that's a really fucked up bill. And she's scared because she wants to keep her job. What she needs to do is vote against it and retire. That's what I say.
There you go.
Yeah, who did that? Someone else is doing that.
Yeah,
there's a couple of people that are.
Yeah, a lot of people are. So this one, let's look at this one. Surprised me. What do you guys think? Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame, and they will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing I do on earth.
I think that
I'm tired of hearing about this next year primary.
Same. I think that Trump retaliated by threatening to remove all of Elon's government what do you call
grants,
it? Subsidies,
protections.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's who knows if Elon will back off what he said, but what I did like is people on Threads saying I would be happy to give Elon Musk immunity if he would just admit that he helped Trump steal the election. And I agree with that because I would like to hear how he helped him steal the election from Kamala Harris. So come on, Elon. You got receipts. Let's see them.
Well, and the threats against him have gotten worse, right? Trump is threatening now to deport him.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Elon is speaking his mind. Elon, you know, for what it's worth, none of us liked the way he did things, but he did it the way he thought was right. He did the same thing in his own company. Remember, when he took over X, he's just not a people person, and there's something different there. But you know, maybe he will come up with those receipts, Keisha. Maybe he just will. Because last I heard, I haven't heard much about it, but I did hear him say something about to the effect that he might just have to pack up his businesses and leave the United States. Did anybody else hear that? Or did
I did.
Hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I heard it.
I did. Let's play another
Mars, honestly.
Yeah, please, just go.
Let's look at another clip.
Astoundingly terrible in every direction. Gobsmacking. It doesn't just take the country backwards in terms of energy policy, although that might be the most crucial civilizational challenge we face. It enshrines trillions of massive tax cuts that primarily benefit rich people and corporations, also benefit people who inherit estates over $50 million, very important constituency. And that is financed only in part by devastating cuts to healthcare and food assistance for poor and working class Americans. Depending on the estimate you listen to and the iteration of the bill that you're looking at, we'll see in the final analysis, something between 12 or 17 million could lose health care, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Hospitals will be defunded. And even with those cuts, the bill adds more than $3 trillion to the deficit over the next decade, also according to CBO. The other thing you should know about this bill is that no one is buying it. This isn't one of those situations where they've pulled off some massive, successful hoodwinking. It is wildly unpopular. And then when people are pulled on its actual substantive provisions, right? Like, here's what the bill does, the giveaways to billionaires, the hits to programs for the poor, the sick, and the elderly, it pulls even worse. Right now, this truly toxic agenda, both in the politics and the merits, is being held together through the sheer force of an institutional Republican Party devoted to the plutocrats and Trump's ability to bully party members into submission. If you've been following the fight over the bill, you will find oddly sensible statements from far-right Republicans over the bill's fiscal irresponsibility, which it is. It will blow up the deficit, and that might actually have some really negative consequences given where we are with interest rates. You'll see people blasting it from the center over its draconian cuts to services.
Let's stop right there. Just talk about this for a little bit, because people, with all the cuts and everything, some people, we are overlooking kind of the deficit issue and that long-term effect, right? The long-term effect. It's going to hurt us.
What happens if China calls in this debt?
4.7
more money
trillion.
to China than anyone else. What if all of a sudden they say, "Come on, we want our money"? Then they're now the superpower overnight.
Exactly. So that's a big concern. Let's finish listening to what he has to say.
I mean, here's the thing. The bill is so bad that even the person who provided the crucial vote today, like the one singular vote that made this thing pass out of the Senate, can't defend it. She knows it's bad. Here's Alaska Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski.
Yeah, we saw that already. So, okay. So we can move on from this one, but just a little more, about what the bill is going to do. And let's not forget one thing. It was a tiebreaker vote, right? And so that one vote, she could have voted no, and that vote would have died. So I love
that's why she couldn't look at the camera.
Kamala Harris used her tiebreaker to vote to help the needy, and Vance used his to help the greedy. I love that, because we all know
she looks
what
great in that picture.
We all know what GOP really stands for.
Read over people, okay?
I like that one.
So
Tim, send that to me.
Okay,
I will.
What it really bothers me, what I really don't understand is, and I think everybody will agree with me on the panel, that we know in every United States government entitlement and every program, there is fraud and abuse. And we all know people who, I know people who got COVID money. They have no right to take COVID money, and they did. And, the whole bit. Why can't they just go after that? I mean, honest to God, they could really clean up. I mean, all this effort they're doing to screw everything up, they could really fix these things. And, with Trump at the helm, he does have the power to do right if he would just, understand that everything's not black and white. I mean, there are people out there who need entitlements. There are people out there who need health insurance. But yes, there are people abusing the system. There are people abusing, the government, including himself. But I don't know. It doesn't seem all that complicated if we could get some ethical people on board.
We could start with the people who aren't paying their taxes. We could start with the people who aren't paying their taxes.
Thank you, Keisha.
But see, Trump is one of those people who just loves not paying taxes. So
we're
not going to go after those people.
Billionaires, the rich people, are the ones that take advantage of the government and the system, not people in need.
Well, I think
everything works for them.
Both. Yeah.
I think the world would be a lot better if they paid taxes instead of going to Venice and having this insane freaking wedding. All those rich people go in there. Bezos can like and
Barbie.
Elon can like solve the problem by giving up all that money that they don't need. Like, I'm really sick of people blaming other people when people who need to be blamed are the politicians and billionaires. I didn't used to feel that about billionaires, but boy, and I'm starting to feel that now. Something's got to change because everything works for them. Everything. And
I'm
it's
gonna
disgusting.
The
I'm gonna
intent
put this
is
one up in the chat right here with Lindy. It says Meta will receive a 1.51. I can't see
15
the number.
15
It's small.
billion.
15 billion check once the bill is fully passed. Ridiculous. Why should any of us pay taxes? Yeah, no, honestly, I think first of all, California needs to start with that, with the not paying taxes thing. I think we need to kind of like chokehold them in that way. I think taxes is a really big piece of this solution. I think to solve this problem. So I mean, maybe we could even go in even deeper into that in another episode because I think that might be very important. So thanks for bringing that up, Lindy.
Well, I mean, California is the 5th largest economy
Fourth
in the
now.
world.
Fourth now.
Okay, 4th now.
Yeah.
But still, in the world. We're not talking about in the United States. Okay. Now, what I wish, and I'm in Virginia, y'all. So, and I don't even know what color our state is right now because it's all going crazy. But anyway,
Where in Virginia are you?
I'm in Smithfield right now. I grew up in Norfolk, Virginia.
I don't know where that is.
Norfolk is the home of the largest Navy base in the world.
No, I know where Norfolk is. I
Yeah.
don't know where Smithfield is.
Smithfield's about 30 miles west.
Oh.
But anyway, so I look at California and I wish Newsom would take y'all's taxes that are supposed to be going out. And I wish he would say, okay, here's a little escrow account. And we're going to put all our taxes over here in this little escrow account. And when all this crap gets cleaned up, then we'll talk about putting our money back out there and pushing our money back out to all of these red states. I really do.
I'm with you on that one. Like 100.
Me too. I'm over it.
I agree.
We're all over it.
Oh, I want to go back to something what you said, Jim, about this bill. I think the one thing that we can't lose sight of and can't forget is the Republicans in general have been trying to cut all of these programs for decades.
Yep.
For decades. And so this is, I don't buy that some of them are saying, oh, it's not, don't want to vote for it. It's not the best. I think they, for the most part, they do want to vote to cut Medicaid and Medicare.
Well, I can tell you, I'm an independent health insurance agent here in Virginia. And I can tell you from the end of January to today already.
I'm sorry. What are we hearing? Someone
Yeah, can somebody mute?
Somebody's got something on in the background.
Yeah.
Mute it.
Andrea, are you watching your phone? Can you mute?
It's not me.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We got it.
So anyway, I can tell you that whatever was being hidden in all of these executive orders, I've been having calls since the end of January that people were already losing their Medicaid. And I'm talking about, I helped a woman 2 months ago who lost it over $5 in income, lost her Medicaid. And she cannot afford the treatments that she needs, the medications that she needs. $5.
And they're also going to make them start.
This has already started. This has been going on since he came into office.
I meant to pull this, Mark Cuban. I may have, and I just didn't get it up here. But I love what he said, something to the effect, and I'm kind of summarizing here, that if companies paid their people a living wage, right, they would not qualify for Medicaid, number one, because they're making a living wage. And also they would be able to pay for medical benefits.
Exactly.
Something to that effect. But it's like, yes. The fact that if you're working full time and you qualify for Medicaid, there is something wrong with that.
Oh, incredibly wrong.
Right, May?
Incredibly wrong.
Did you have
Well,
something? May?
I think for me, from someone that doesn't have like, we have Tom in the chat over here. Let me put it up for you. Yeah, but imagine the IRS being weaponized to garnish incomes of regular people. So we're talking like about taxes and things like that. First of all, I make, like peasant money, like barely every 2 weeks with a very legitimate job that I think should be paid for much more. First of all. Secondly, I'm not going to lose any Medicare or Medicaid or anything because I never had the shit. So, there, you gotta think about, like, everybody is so selfish about what they're gonna lose and what's gonna happen to them. And that's why we are here, because nobody is thinking about the real bigger picture. Okay, so just because you aren't losing your stuff doesn't mean your next door neighbor might be, trash because of this. And that's why I'm kind of sick of this, and that's why we're here. I don't know. That's just kind of the frustrating part about this to me, and why it almost makes me that I can't even articulate it, because it just makes no sense how everybody's so flabbergasted and confused. Like, oh, I lost my Medicare. Well, yeah, you know what? Some people didn't even fucking have the shit. Oh, my 401k is gone. Oh, poor me. Okay, some people didn't even have the fucking shit. So it's like, come on now, y'all. It just, it
But
makes
the
me
thing
so
about
mad.
healthcare is we are only as well as the people around us. So we need to care about that.
This goes back to, and I'm sure some of you will remember, was it Kim Porter? She's the Californian, I believe, who had Jamie Dimon on the hot seat. And she took the whiteboard out and she was talking about the teller at her bank, at his bank, at Chase Manhattan Bank, where, they took her salary and then they deducted child care and medical care and all of that stuff. And she was in a deficit. And he was like, oh, well, that's terrible. That should be fixed. And then at the end, she disclosed, no, this is a teller who works for your company. And you got, a whatever $1 or $1 billion. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. I do now.
Awesome. Yeah. And we need much more of that.
Meanwhile, they had the Bernie Madoff account all secure in there. Let's mention that.
Yeah.
He ain't one to teach that story, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So question for the team. We can move on a little bit, or we can hear what the House Dems had to say in their press conference. Do we want to hear a little bit of that?
I did just want to add.
I think it's important that we do. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Keisha, before we do.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I would really love if we could, and maybe this is not the solution, but I don't want my tax money going to ICE, because fuck ICE.
Exactly.
And, I saw someone say on social media that they never walk around thinking to themselves, I wonder if that person is here legally. And I thought about it and I'm like, I don't care either. Like, if people are here, like, I'm not saying like open the floodgates, everyone should come here. I understand that we have limited resources, but it's not that big of a deal. If people are here, they're paying taxes, they're contributing to the economy, they're not committing crimes. I don't want my tax money going to this overinflated idea of people coming in and committing all these crimes when we have domestic terrorists that we are not paying any attention to, and it's a bigger problem than these mythical criminal illegals.
Exactly.
And I don't want my tax
Because
money
we
going
see
to a tennis court and a new ballroom attached to the
Mhm.
White House and to retrofit that goddamn plane that none of us are talking about anymore. So, I mean, it's all the same. Our taxes
Don't forget about the flagpole.
They're supposed to be going to.
Now, I'm
Well,
with you, Keisha. I
yeah.
walk and I see humans. I don't look at someone and think, oh my gosh, they're Hispanic. Oh, are they here legally? Oh no, are they paying taxes? If whether they are legally here or not legally here, no, I see a human being. I don't look at people and think, oh, should I say hello to that person if they look up? Well, wait a minute, they might not be here like I'm born and raised here. They may not be here as a full-blown citizen. Oh no. No.
But the deeper issue is Keisha's point, where I'm glad she touched on this, is our tax money is going to things that half of the country doesn't agree with.
Exactly.
And why are we paying for programs and things that don't help anybody but the few, or don't help anybody? They hurt our society. They hurt our economy. They hurt. Or they're luxuries for the one or two people in the country that, like the plane or the tennis courts and the rose gardens gone and all that stuff. It's like, seriously, we pay for that. It's the people's house.
It's like
Why
I
aren't
wish
we
there
getting
was
a
a
vote
way
on
to
that?
conscientiously object to paying my taxes.
Well, that's why California needs to pull this power move and
That's
stop
right.
putting our money into this like ASAP, because I really think
Exactly.
that would really kind of
It'll
maybe
jolt
shake
'em.
things up a little
I
bit
know.
in a good way for us, at least.
Oh, it wouldn't just shake it up. It'd be putting it in a blender and just, I mean, it would liquefy the whole situation.
It's in the blender now. We spinning in a ninja as we speak.
Yeah.
Right now it's looking like the Casper slide or something, but it's getting ready to turn into a mess.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next clip. Okay?
Yeah, I think one of the things we do have to remember, this whole immigration thing is manufactured. It's a manufactured issue. Did we have issues with immigration? Yes. This is not how you fix it. I think and the experts have been talking about this more recently. Heather Cox Richardson is one of them, which I'll play a clip from her later about another issue. That it's a manufactured issue to do exactly what they're doing, right? So we have to
Exactly.
keep that kind of in perspective there. It's just ridiculous. But let's hear a little bit from Dems, and then we'll move on to our next topic.
Every single House Democrat will vote hell no against this one big ugly bill. And all we need are 4 House Republicans to join us in defense of their constituents who will suffer mightily from this bill. Children will be hurt. Families will be hurt. People with disabilities will be hurt. Women will be hurt by what is an all-out assault on the health care of the American people. An unprecedented assault, ripping health care away from more than 17 million Americans. Premiums, copays, and deductibles for other people on private insurance will go up all across the country. Hospitals will close. Nursing homes will shut down. Community-based clinics won't have the ability to operate. And as a result, people are going to die.
I'm going to stop it right there. All we need are 4 Republicans to say no. Is his point. 4 Republicans, right?
That's not going to happen.
Dude, like four people to just grow a spine or a vagina or some balls or something.
They have wishbones where backbones are required.
Like, what can we get for
like
you
that.
to just like do this for us? Like, you know what I mean? Like, help me help you. What do you need?
I got it.
Well,
you know what they're probably doing? They're going to go to them.
We need their constituents to pound on their offices and just stand at their door and threaten them as people that you will never be reelected if you vote for this. And if so many people are against it, shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
But then again, look, Jimbo, like, look what this all boils down to is basically, again, it's we the people, not I the people. Like, the only way to get these people to even be on our side or do anything to help anybody is if they start thinking about people beyond their nose. And that's
The
what is
people they're
embedded so
supposed to
deeply
be
in this culture
serving.
of America
Yep.
that we can't even get our leadership like Hakeem Jeffries to like do the right thing sometimes. Like, he's not been like all in the okie doke, you know? So it's just like, I feel like we have a deeply rooted selfishness issue in this country. that has led us into one of the darkest places I think we will ever see in a long time.
And it's also,
Period.
at the top, at the root of it all, we know it's greed. But in this part, to Keisha's point again, these politicians are paid by us. They're paid by our tax dollars. They're supposed to be representing us, and they're representing whatever they want to do for their own personal, to save their own personal skin, their job, their whatever.
Well, and the lobbyists,
religious preferences.
The lobbyists, the big corporate that pay them a lot of money.
Yes, they're sold. They're sold, and they tell them what to do, and they do what they tell them to do.
The concerning thing is they had a vote today, and they didn't have the votes. And those Republicans, the only reason, my understanding is the only reason they voted no was because of it raised the deficit, not because it was going to hurt people, not because it was going to close rural hospitals and people were going to lose their insurance, but because it was going to, and they have always been against that. Once they figure out how to reconcile that, they'll vote yes. That's what's scary about this.
But that's a $3 trillion reconciliation. That's a lot of money that he's looking to raise.
There's a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of negotiations going on behind the scenes tonight.
Right, and I think they keep doing these votes, even
like
though they don't have the vote. I think they keep doing the votes because they know they don't have the votes to weed out the people that they can put the pressure on.
Keyshawn in the chat said from NYC said that we got a Hakeem Jeffries too. Wish he had a little more oomph. He weak sauce. I hate to say it, but he weak sauce.
Oh, bruh, he is burnt toast, no butter. He is so dry. Yeah. Oh my god. He like eating.
All right, let's transition.
No water.
Yeah. We've got a couple more topics to get to, but I want to close this session with some words from our future podcasters or our future Democrats.
Testing. Okay. Fellow truth tellers, today's topic is the so-called Big BS bill. That's right. BS. Bold shenanigans.
They spent how long making this thing and what's in it, and no juice box transparency, no blanket security, or just chaos. And look,
page 12, all blocks must be square, no circles allowed. I don't know about you, but that feels like anti-creativity legislation.
Page 38, only elite babies can use the sandbox. Excuse me, did sandbox access become a private membership now?
They say it's about order. But really? It's about control. Control of the snacks. Control of the nap time. Control of the narrative.
They think we're too little to notice, but guess what? Little voices got big ears, and we heard everything.
And we remember, even if it's only for 10 minutes.
Which is longer than most of them. Remember the Constitution. This is our crib, our future. And we are not crawling away from the truth. See you Friday. Bring snacks, bring facts.
And bring a blankie. It's going to be a bumpy broadcast.
I like it.
From our futures. All right.
There's August.
Yay!
Yay! Hello, August.
Hey, August.
Go Hakeem Jeffries.
It's that time for our WTF segment. So here's our WTF for today.
I have no words.
I'm not doing it.
Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? This is. Oh my God! There are no words. There are just no words.
Is that legal? Like I don't under.
None of it's legal. He was selling a Tesla in front of the White House. Like, I can't.
Is he available on Afterpay? That's all I'm asking.
His sons are creating cell phones. Like, none of this is legal, and no one is doing anything about it. So he's going to keep making money and profiting off of his presidency.
It's so blatant.
while not paying taxes.
While not paying taxes, while not serving jail time for all of his felonies.
Right.
Right.
I don't know what's going to become of us.
This is why I am hella concerned, and that's why I didn't really give a shit about the Diddy trial and all that, because they are not. There's no due process. They just kidnapping people. They are not following court orders. The Supreme Court is completely just like in a chokehold. I don't know what's going on with them. So all of these legal proceedings literally are for nothing. It's like a huge waste of time, but it's not, because once we get through, and money, yes, but once we get through this, having all this data and all these records and all these things will help, but it's not helping now. So that's where I think we are not approaching this fight the way that we need to, because there is no rule of law right now. So we got to figure out how to put things back together so that we do have rule of law. Now we can start suing people and stuff again. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Am I crazy?
No, you're not.
Without the rule
of
of
I'm
law.
going to say something about, it's going to be very unpopular, but Michelle Obama was dead wrong. That when we go low, when they go low, we go high. No, when they go low, we go lower we get to the gates of hell, open it, and kick them in. That's it.
And if you're in a legal state,
we want
go
to be
low,
on
you
the
get
high
high.
road, the high road, the high road. You can't be on the high road.
No, but I disagree with that, because we don't want to become the monsters that we're fighting.
No, we don't.
I think
but
we
I don't
have
want
to
the
hit the
monsters
fine
to-
line.
No, you have to fight fire with fire. And you don't have to be the monsters, but you still have to fight about it. You can't just sit there and Pollyanna about it like, oh, this, that. No, you got to do something about it. I mean, Liz Cheney did more with her, we're sleepwalking into democracy and giving up her career and everything else for the Democrats than the Democrats have done for ourselves. Think about that for a minute. Adam Kinzinger did more for the Democrats than the Democrats have done by going
For our country. They
for
did
our
it
country.
For our country.
Right.
And that's the point. And I agree.
For
with
our
that.
country, you're right. For our country. But if we are going to save our country from this regime or what have you, there's no taking the high road. There's just not. You can't.
Yeah,
There's a way to match energies without being destructive.
Exactly. No, 100%. Look at what Lindy says in the chat. She says, we're better than that, JB. I don't want to stoop to their level. And I agree. We're not no evildoers, and we will never will be that on that level. But
their level,
we're not,
our
but Jim, let me just
Go ahead,
finish my
I'm
thought
listening.
real quick. But we're already at the level. We're in the level. So we gotta fight back the way that, like, you gotta fight the opponent in front of you. We're over here thinking that it's okay, like that something in the courts is gonna help some shit, and when it's not, like, we in the level, we are in the shit.
It's squabble
We're not
up.
looking at it from exactly like
He's
what do
there
you want
with
us people to do.
he's taking bunker bombs to our democracy, to our societies, to our services, and we're fighting with it with a pea shooter or slingshot.
I disagree. You can
right.
meet the enemy you can meet them where they are without selling ourselves to the devil.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about selling ourselves. It's not about selling ourselves. It's about turning the courts, working with the courts faster and more furiously. It's about doing the risky thing, doing the thing that you're afraid of. Again, for the country. And I'll reference, and I have nothing in common with Liz Cheney, but I'll reference her again. I mean, I read that book of hers. Did you guys read her book? Anybody?
I did. Yes, I did.
It was a great book. I mean, it really was. It was inspiring. And, it's just, we need more.
And I was very grateful to Liz for what she did. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I was very grateful to her. But I don't care for her daddy, but that ain't had nothing to do with her.
I don't know if you see Jasmine Crockett out there, but she looks exhausted. The poor thing is like fighting. She's a one-man band. And she's on her show and doing her things. And she's about to fall asleep because she is working so hard on her own. Where's her army? Where's her backup? Where are they?
Okay, I think that this past election proved that they aren't there. She is an intelligent, articulate Black woman. This election showed that that army does not exist in this country.
Where
I'm
they at? Where
sorry. I
they
love
at?
her.
Okay.
I love her. I love to listen to her. But the people listening to her are us. It's not the other side, because that army does not exist. If that army existed, we would not be in this situation with an illegal occupier of the White House.
Yes.
Right. Terry, because they're all on the high road. So we've come full circle.
But you guys, really, if you gotta think, like, really bring this down back to a basis here. When you're fighting a war or any sort of, or you're battling against anybody, you gotta be battling in the same fight, and that's what I feel like we're not doing.
The same strength.
We're bringing a stick to a knife
That's
fight.
why
I hear you.
Exactly. That's why Terry is so on point. We don't have that. Like, there are people that didn't vote, that didn't pay attention, didn't know shit about what was going on. You know what I mean? And so, and we got caught slipping, and then we're still trying to fight in like this Goliath, and we don't even know what we're fighting against. Like, it's so frustrating. You know, I was just watching the Pirates of the Caribbean like a few days ago, and he always says, like, Barbosa says, like, you better start believing in ghost stories because you're in one. Like, hello, you know?
Right.
And that let's move on, because we have two more topics we want to talk about, but nothing says that more. That's a great segue, May. Perfect. Than what we are up against. I just want to put this up so that people know what makes a concentration camp as we enter into this new segment, right? Mass detention without trial, targeted group persecution, state or military control, harsh, humane conditions, and isolation and surveillance, fear as a tool of control. So keep that in mind as we listen to Heather Cox Richardson talk about what they're doing in Florida.
Other thing that happened today, in addition to the bill that extraordinarily puts more and more funding into detention and interception of undocumented immigrants by people who at least are said to be ICE agents. Their faces are covered and they are not wearing any badges. So I remain a skeptic until I know more about it. The other thing that happened was the president went to Florida to visit the newly operative detention center in the Everglades. And people are using this cutesy little name called Alligator Alcatraz. And it is a detention center that consists of cages in tents for undocumented migrants who are caught in this system that we have created. And Trump and a number of the people around him, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, seem to think it's kind of a joke to put people in a swamp in Florida during hurricane season, surrounded by alligators and pythons. And Tommy Tuberville, a senator from Alabama, talked about migrants in the cities as rats the other day. And if you can't look at that and see the dehumanization that leads to tragedy, then you're not looking. And that worries me, not only in the short term for our neighbors who will be sent to these detention facilities. And of course, now if this bill passes, we are funding even more detention facilities to the tune of billions of dollars. But to go back to where I started, the idea of a president who is above the law, what we are seeing is the construction not just of a fantasy of one man, because Trump is not mentally healthy. He lost it again today. He's not going to be here forever. He's just not. 79 years old, mentally losing it. My grandchildren are not going to be dealing with Donald Trump. but my grandchildren are going to be dealing with the world that this administration is leaving behind. And the construction of these facilities, the ICE agents who are pulling people out of their cars and out of their homes for the crime of being caught in a labor system beyond their control that our Congress has refused to fix because the Republicans like being able to accuse migrants of being bad influences on the U.S. so that they can turn out their white nationalist supporters. The construction of that system, once it is here, will be very difficult to get rid of. And once we get rid of the undocumented migrants in our midst, which, by the way, is already wreaking havoc on the construction industry and the food industry and so many things, it seems to me significant that Trump talked today about deporting, stripping citizenship from, or otherwise getting rid of the citizens in our midst who are speaking out against the Trump administration.
That's pretty
Woo, shit, man.
Well, I snore, so I can't bunk with anybody here. If you have a problem,
it's just absolutely insane.
But I have.
And who's going to watch the inmate, the detainees out there with the pythons, and who's watching them?
We need,
it doesn't even make any sense.
We need to pass the narrative that this is not alligator Alcatraz, but it's alligator Auschwitz.
Yeah,
And
it's given it's giving Nazi Germany vibes.
It's giving. It is. That's exactly what it is.
No, that's exactly the way a concentration camp.
And
was.
before we go into this big conversation about it, let's look at this first, a response from Laura Loomer that I thought was the most disgusting thing I've seen in response to this. Right? This is what we're dealing with.
So gross.
This is so beyond disgusting.
Honestly, hey y'all, hey, bro. Honestly,
she's a terrible.
Don't
I mean,
fuck these people.
La 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 la.
But the thing is it speaks to their motives. This is ethnic cleansing that they're talking about, because 65 million refers to the number of people who identify as Hispanic in this country. So if you were going to make that kind of joke, she's basically saying, like, I'm a white supremacist. I want these brown people gone. And fuck her for that.
Exactly.
Fuck her, fuck Ron DeSantis, all of these people that are cheering on a concentration camp. Like, we always ask ourselves, what would we do if we were in Nazi Germany? Here's your chance, America, to figure that out. And some of y'all are cheering and clapping like fucking seals.
Well,
Where are all the evangelicals and all the Christians so close to God when the first rule is love thy neighbor? Where are they who voted for this freaking man? And if you go back to that last post, I started reading a comment from someone who said something about that, Kim, about where are the Christians or something about the hypocrisy. If you could put that back up, the Laura Loomer thing.
Laura Loomer?
The comment right below it, there was another comment. And I hope it's saying what I'm trying to say, but
that's okay.
Where are all these holy rollers who are supposed to be,
They can't be too holy, Jim, because they're not fearing meeting their maker with these decisions.
No, right here. I don't care what anyone says. I appreciate when you all drop the Christian act and reveal your seething, unhinged hatred for everything Christ ever said. There you go.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Bingo. Yeah, bingo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes
for those that are poor.
Did y'all see? This is how deeply irritated I am. Did y'all see my comment right down there?
Yes.
that is how I fuck these people to a molecular fucking level. I hate these people. Fuck them. Every single piece of them. Ooh.
I was crying this morning. I woke up with tears in my eyes because I know, as a healthcare worker in this country, that what I'm about to face and what the problems are now, and if this goes through, it's going to come to a point where some nights we might have to step over people to get into work, or days. Doctors are going to be able to. It's the destruction of everything we know, and it's just not going to be good. And I literally just woke up just in tears because I seen that it had passed in the Senate, and I thought, what? Wow.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's not the only atrocities that are happening in Florida, right, Keisha?
Oh man.
Let's,
Florida, y'all done did this to yourself. I don't know what to say.
have you all heard about this?
Oh yeah. I can't.
Despite
I
controversy,
thought
Miami moved election date. One candidate has already sued. So a lawsuit filed Monday is challenging last week's controversial Miami City Commission vote to postpone the city's upcoming November election to 2026.
It's not a
They're
bad
postponing
thing to have
election.
it on the same as the federal, but you have to do it with the vote of the people. You can't just make a decision and put it in place. That's what's wrong with this.
I have never heard of this happening ever.
Okay, but the thing is yes, they can just do this and put it in place because the administration, just like Keisha was saying, welcome to Nazi Germany today. We have an administration and a president, number one, doing the same thing, and number two, giving permission for the least of these, as they say in the Bible, to be harmed, to be starved to death, to be killed with no medical care. And now you just have another example that they can, because they have permission to from those on high.
It doesn't make it legal.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I want to read this because to Linda's point too, and Terry, absolutely. So the commissioners unconstitutionally bypassed the democratic will of the people in a way that Florida Constitution, the Miami-Dade Charter, and the city's charter expressly prohibit. The lawsuit alleges it's reminiscent of regimes in Venezuela, Nicaragua, Bolivia, Cuba, the very places so many of these the people of Miami come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, Ron DeSantis is the fucking worst. I'm so mad that he's back in the news. I can't stand him. He just ugh, like what?
Evil.
I'm like, man, it was so nice to like not hear from him for a while, and now he's back, and I'm just like really annoyed with that.
It's always Florida. That's all I'm gonna say. It's always Florida.
And again, don't you remember those two hated each other for a while there, and now they're thick as thieves again.
Well, that's when you got evil in common. Got to have some common ground.
Well,
aren't they breaking? Aren't there like?
Go ahead.
Aren't they breaking international laws? Like, can't they? I don't know. Like,
feel like they could do some kind of war crimes or some kind of human crimes.
Human rights, yeah.
Yes, violations.
I feel like now we need the international community to come and save Americans.
I think so too. I was just gonna say that. I think that we're gonna need some international help with this because this is out of control.
It's crazy. It's like
we need help.
My mind,
we are
like,
not
I
gonna
know
be able to do this on our own.
I know we're in it, but I feel like Americans don't have a history of trying to figure out what to. We've never been in this.
Stupid.
Yeah, we don't know what to do with this. We need somebody to come in. And they're not coming because they will do things to them because we're still a superpower, whether one admit it or not. So they're not, like Obama said, nobody's coming for you. You got to save yourself. We, the people, must unite.
Dude, like start with the blue states. Start with the blue states. All the blue states need to get
together. But like 6 of them anyway.
Do some, and then and we start there.
Could you have ever thought of a time where any of us could possibly conceive of the idea that we need to be a refugee to another country? Some of my dearest friends are came off of boats across the ocean during the Vietnam War here to America as refugees. And it blows my mind that in 2025, I could even conceive of a day where, gosh, is it really going to come to the point where I've got to go to another country and apply for refugee status from the United States of America?
Straight up. That's where we are. And we need to start looking at it like that. For real.
Yeah.
What I find especially chilling about this is a comment I saw someone say on social media, which totally tracks, is this could just be a test run for doing this with the midterm elections. Because if they tolerate this in Florida, let's say other states follow suit, because that's what the southern belt of states like to do. Alabama will probably be next, and Texas, exactly. And so if they don't fight this, who's gonna stop Trump from saying, well, I'm gonna be president forever? I told y'all. So why do we need midterms?
There will be an uprising. He won't know what hit him.
Well, and will
there?
the
We
Supreme
just gotta live.
Court's obviously not
I think
going to
there would
stand
be.
up
I think
for
there would
us.
be.
But would he let us? You see what he did in California for a couple
We ain't
of...
got time to be even thinking about no damn 2026. We got a month to figure out some shit. You know what I mean? They already
They
got the
moving
camp open.
fast. Yeah.
Bruh. I'm sorry.
Before we, I do have a clip that our friend Nicole Cox shared with us, so I want to play that about the election, and then we can talk some more.
Y'all know that the city of Miami canceled their November elections and that the mayor and the city commissioners will get another year term. I repeat, the city of Miami canceled their November elections and are postponing them until 2026. They decided to move the election year from odd to even on an election year. Meanwhile, the city charter states that municipal elections take place in odd years, and charter changes requires voter approvals, although voters did not vote for this. So when folks keep talking about constitution and laws and order and decorum and all this other craziness, your literal rights are being stripped away right in front of you. And folks can call it fear mongering or whatever the top vocabulary word is for this week in TikTok, but you cannot deny what is happening in real time. So Miami's Republican mayor will get another year that the voters did not vote for.
Yeah.
So
that's what exact, bruh.
That's fascism.
Everything out of my mouth, everything out of my brain. She just wrapped that up in a nice little bow, right? Exactly what I've been trying to say. And it's like, hello, are we not paying attention to what the fuck is happening right in front of your fucking eyes right now?
Again,
Well, we
it's
are.
all been said
We are,
out loud,
yes.
and it's all in 2025. You won't need another election. This will be the last time you vote. We heard this throughout the campaign trail. So why is anybody surprised? And guess what? If there is another election, there's so many mechanisms that have been put in place already with people who are going to refuse it, and now by the law they can refuse it, and they can decide who the electoral college is, and all that nonsense. We're just basically fucked, guys. I mean, I just feel so defeated. I feel so defeated.
I'm not
I
giving
will
up.
say something wonderful that is taking off in my area, southeastern Virginia, is, and I saw another group today, retired liberal people that look like my grandmother and my grandfather, are out on our busy intersections with their signs, with with their messages, their bullhorns, and that does lift me up a little bit, because I'm seeing these people come out and say no king, no fascism, none of this, that this is all insanity. I mean, and I'm out on the streets trying to make money to pay my rent and have groceries and actually be able to get gas in my car. I mean, the changes he's made just since January, my business is down 35 $1,000 in commission this year, and I am a one-woman show. You know, so that does hearten me some that, you know, I don't have as much time to be out there because I'm hoofing it on the streets trying to make a living, literally, sometimes from 7 in the morning till midnight, you know, but that helps me a little bit, gives me, you know, heartens me a little bit when I see these things, because the retired people in my area are saying, hey, we've got time and we're getting out there. And I love it. I love it. And I'm
100%.
blowing my horn through the intersections. And you hear it a lot. I just, you know, I just hope that in this next election that we have it, number one, but that the people show up, that our people show up.
Keisha has a nice comment over here on the screen.
Yes, she does.
I like this. I like this comment here, and I do 100% agree. But I think we also need to agree that we need to wake people up to know that we are in an actual fight right now, and that is the frustrating part. We are actually at war. We are in war. We are doing it, and we're just like sleepwalking through it right now.
I see people just getting pregnant, having babies.
Yeah, we're not. People just don't know what to do. We continue to go out. We continue to stand up. We continue to fight for truth. We continue to push back. And the one thing we cannot do, and Jim, you know, I love you. The one thing we cannot do is give up. We cannot afford, because that's exactly, I know, but that's exactly what they want us to do. I know.
And we have to be strategic and have so like, I think maybe even I propose this for the next episode, like we have like a solution episode, some brainstorming, like in positive brainstorming, like, okay, we got to take care of each other because people are going to lose Medicare, Medicaid and stuff. We got to make sure that we're taking care of our neighbors. Making sure that people got their food or their kids can get a ride to the school every day and get there safely, and making sure that we're taking care of each other. We need to start coming up with some fucking solutions, and then I mean that shit like today. You know what I mean? So
I felt
like we gotta start working on solutions on how to solve this. Like California, maybe we really should go ahead and be bold and stop taking off, like take our money out of it. Maureen,
can I give a process a story? This is a story. I don't know if it's relative to what we're talking about, but getting back to Nazi Germany, I was at Dachau a few years ago with my husband, and we had this great young man who took us through there and told it. We knew the history already, but it really hits you right when you're there. We went into this room. They had a classroom for these young 14-year-olds in Germany. And they were teaching them about Nazism and how it cannot happen again in Germany. And they brought them to that horrid place. Didn't blame these young people that they caused it. That's important in education, but told them we can never let this happen again. I'll never forget that image. And what I feel like is missing in our country, which is so sad, is we're not educating at all. We're banning books. Banning shows. We can't do that. Now, I know we've had a lot of, not all stories have been accurate in history for sure, but we just can't ban everything altogether. We've got to teach our young people we have a good and bad history. Bad history, a good history, but all of it has to be taught accurately. And I don't know. I don't see it happening right now. In fact, I think we're going down the pit right now. And I think that's so wrong. Anyway,
I think we were all energized on King's Day, no King's Day, to see the turnouts and the crowd, whatever. But what did it do? Did it do anything? You guys know more about protesting than I do because I've never done it. But
I think it inspired people.
Mm-hmm.
The optics
gave them a little hope.
I think I felt that. Yeah.
But to May Money's comment, you know, in terms of what can we do, we need to get involved at the grassroots levels, on the school boards and city councils. That's Republicans have been doing that for years and years and years. We need to be going in at that level and stopping transphobia and book burning and telling people what they can and cannot read. I don't know. Did you guys hear about? Oh, I don't remember what state it was. They the parents can now say they don't want their kids to read certain books picked by the teachers, and they can opt out. Well, is a teacher then going to pick a book that maybe has a trans or a gay person in it, and then maybe have people opt out, which they can't stop, or are they going to pick something that's not like that? We've got to get involved at the local level. That's where it's all going to start.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm 52 years old. I was in high school from 87 to 91. Do you know how I learned about Vietnam? From my veteran father. It wasn't taught to me.
No.
And that was in the late 80s, early 90s. Now, the things that you're talking about with transphobia and all, I live in a county that last year in the election, they voted in our county that it is perfectly acceptable and expected that if a teacher suspects that a student is LGBTQ anywhere in the community, that they can go directly to the parents and should, because we need to protect those students. Okay, my polite confrontation with one of these people's was, did you vote for this? Well, I'm a Christian, and yes, I have to vote for what's right. Okay, well, let me just tell you, thank God my kids are 21 and 23. We are a gay family with a transgender 21-year-old. And I looked at this person and I said, well, if you voted your Christian conscience, I guess you won't mind your hands being bloodied by the children who will kill themselves. But they're not killing themselves, you're killing them. And that's the kind of county I live in. I mean, I threw up when I found it. I literally threw up when I found out what was voted on.
It's like
there's no words.
That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing
Underhill in the comments. I wanted to shout out to Underhill in the comments. He's basically saying kind of like what I meant about Hakeem Jeffries, and that is the normal, the standard, the people that we always see, the Cory Bookers, all of them, they're part of the system. And even if I like them, I worry about their allegiances. And how about that? And so
I agree.
We need real politicians and real people, grassroots.
Well, we have to get the money out of politics. We have to get the corporate money out of politics, dark money out of politics. Everything should be grassroots. This is the problem, and I blame both sides for that.
100%.
So once we get out of this mess, we've talked about this. There's so much that needs to be fixed because our democracy was not perfect by any means, but it sure is a hell a lot better than a dictatorship. But once we get out of this, we have a lot of work to do. To Linda's point, to get involved at the grassroots level and bring the people up and start supporting the people who, the problem is, do they get to a certain point and then they start getting, the power? We all know how the power corrupts, money corrupts. We have to find a way to fix that. First of all.
Well, and also on the grassroots level, we've got to get real about uniting and trusting each other as different races. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Because I can tell you, so this is a reality. I have absolutely no issues with apologizing to every single Black person in this country that my family owned slaves. My family owned slaves. I don't own a slave, but I can own the past of my family, and I can say, I'm sorry, because it crushes my heart that my family owned slaves. There are too many people in this country, white people in this country, saying, oh, well, slavery was horrible and, it shouldn't have happened, but I don't have to apologize because it wasn't me. I'm not saying it was me. I'm telling you that 2 generations back, only 2 generations back, my family owned slaves. Don't we think that I'm saying my Southern white people would step up and simply say that and mean it, their heart be behind it, wouldn't people of other races be more trustful when I say, hey, I'm on your side? I'm on your side. I'm in this fight with you. I mean, there are so many levels at the grassroots that need to be addressed, but they can be addressed. It's not too many to not address them.
Right. You start and you get to what you
Wow.
get to. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh my God. You know what? I almost like wanted to cry. That
Me
what might
too.
have been one of the best things I've heard all year.
Yeah.
If coming from you,
I
and we just
appreciate
pretty
it.
much met today, and like that was powerful, Terry. I really do think
It would go a
that is
long way in healing.
highly important. Just because I know it was because of the way that affected me, and I wasn't even expecting that. You know what I mean? It just it's so important that y'all, yeah, yo, we need to start. I'm pretty sure White Jesus is actually a pretty cool dude. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
was,
mean?
as
We
white
need
as I
White
am,
Jesus.
girl, I was never taught about a white Jesus. I have to tell you,
I'm
as
just
white as
kidding.
I
I'm just
am, I
joking.
All
know,
right,
but I'm just
everybody,
saying.
we've gone over 15 minutes.
Oh.
But I like to end with something a little fun. This time maybe a little spicy. So one of our little sassy girls has a message from MAGA.
MAGA, are you still falling for the same bedtime story? Once upon a time, your tyrannical toddler-in-chief said, "No more wars." Then, boom! He's playing Risk with real countries and a sippy cup in his hand. Meanwhile, your rights? Vanishing faster than my pacifier at nap time. No health care, no choice. But hey, at least billionaires got a tax cut and a new yacht named Trickle Down. And you're stuck watching reruns of The Apprentice thinking it's a documentary. Look, I might be a baby, but I know a diaper full of BS when I smell it. And honey, this whole agenda reeks. Wake up, Buttercup. Democracy doesn't run on tantrums and conspiracy theories. It runs on truth, care, and people like us. Now, pass the teether, and let's fix this mess.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Ooh, girl,
Who was that supposed to be?
That was just a podcaster that I invited on the show.
Mr.
Nobody
Midbat.
we know.
Oh.
Nobody we know. That's the future. Our future's calling for us to fix this. Right?
Yep.
So they have something to
Okay.
look forward to.
So can I put a challenge in before we end the show? I think
Absolutely.
that maybe everybody should write down like a solution for our next episode, like, or just a little, just something simple. It doesn't have to be rocket science, but like a solution to our problem, instead of going around in circles talking about what's going on. Like, we need to start figuring out how we're going to solve this problem without the least bit of casualties and heartache and pain and all the bullshit. Like what can we do to make sure that this is done correctly? And we got to start thinking on the side of the box too. You know what I mean? So I challenge everybody and all the viewers and everybody to sorry, I slipped on the comments a little bit, but to think about that before our next episode.
Challenge
Right.
accepted.
Thank you.
Underhill doesn't like our babies.
That's
That's okay. We have to lighten things up. We try to lighten things up a little bit.
That's not my problem.
All right. Any last words before we take off today?
This has
Live
been
long and
incredible.
prosper.
My first time here.
Live long
I've really
and prosper.
enjoyed
I
y'all.
love that.
I really
There we
have.
go. Live long and prosper.
Thanks, Terry.
Guys, have a nice night. It was a pleasure as always. We'll
All
see
right.
you
We
later.
love you. Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody. Please like,
Bye.
subscribe.
Bye.
Like,
Like and subscribe. There we
Bye.
go. Yay.
See you
Good
Friday.
night. Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night.
Don't we just miss the good old days of great Uncle Sleepy Joe? Because I could sure use a 6-hour nap after discussing all of the F words and evilry that goes on in our day society. You know, it's a whole bunch of bullshit. Don't tell my mom I curse, but the real F word is fascism. So I hope that you enjoyed our show today. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure you got your drink with you and your sippy cups. And make sure that nap is at least 6 hours. But while you stay awake, join us Wednesdays, Fridays, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time with We the People, because we are the people, we the schmegular people. Regular schmegular. See you next time. Bye. Nap time.
We the people unite.